Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of TacoBytes, your daily bite of Degen, episode 336. Oh my gosh, 336 episodes. We are going to just cover some short stuff today. We are doing some trading pieces, really showcasing the power of Axelar's satellite bridge. But one of the big things sort of wanted to touch on and read straight from the source of fortune.com, Fortune Crypto. Robert F. Kennedy is boasting that he wants to make Bitcoin deposits exempt from cryptocurrency capital gains. Now, I one day this person will point out who they are, but this person smarter than me sort of pointed out, if RFK, Bobby wanted to figure out a way to get himself unelected, this might be the way. But by making Bitcoin, the US dollar partially backed by Bitcoin, we're just going to go through the article real quick because it's just made news again yesterday. But RFK is a Democrat candidate running for president. Tuesday, recently condemned by his very own family for claiming that COVID. So, speaking virtually during an event hosted by Heal the Divide, Kennedy said that he wants to exempt the conversion of Bitcoin to the US dollar from capital gains taxes, as well as back the US dollar with real finite assets such as gold, silver, platinum, and Bitcoin. So, he said the very two policy proposals would be part of his administration's mission to making America the global hub for cryptocurrency, particularly Bitcoin. So he has further states that he has between 100,000 and 250,000 in the cryptocurrency on its balance sheet. And then they wanted to point out that his income investment generated less than $201. This is sort of one of those interesting things where I don't necessarily know where you would lean left or right, but we see politicians trying to take a stance on crypto. And when it comes from the Democratic Party, people will have to wonder if Elizabeth Warren has had her heyday, or if we're moving into the writing is on the wall. The SEC has been slapped around in its face. The SEC finds victory in defeat. So hats off to you for turning the other cheek and looking brighter. But it's really interesting to sort of see how this goes. We have people like Elizabeth Warren who are touting Bitcoin being criminals' number one currency. Criminals, it's just an easy way for them to get money because, like any other scam, just like scam artists are able to get Target gift cards from your grandma to pay off their taxes, rather than addressing criminals, wants to just criminalize everyone. And so we see the same thing happened with the SEC, where they wanted to sort of say that platforms are guilty of trading securities without actually proving that what they are trading are securities. And so this is a really interesting fact piece here. Some really cool stuff that we have coming up tomorrow. We actually have the Matthew from Talbot Ventures, the creator of the Inverse Kramer, on the show. That is going to be a wild ride to sort of talk both about some of the different strategies and ETFs that he's created, what other ETFs are out there that are like this, how often these get made. And then we're going to be talking about BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF and what they're going there. And, Larry Fink would not submit a proposal for an Bitcoin ETF unless he knew it was going to get approved. Does this go back to the I scratch your back, you scratch my back? Does this go back into the good old boys type of things? Or, not going to do something to say that it fails? Or right off the brain right here, is it meant to fail? Saying, we're going to put all this money, we have all this things behind it, and then set it up so that it fails. So then they can try to say, oh, Bitcoin's as an ETF fails. thus dumping the market a little bit more and allowing BlackRock to scoop up even more Bitcoin. You know, we're going to have an interesting take on that. We're going to have a lot of fun with that. We're going to try to see, you know, connection with that we have with William Schweitzer, who is running for U.S. Senate against Gillibrand here in New York on the show as well, as he wants to bring blockchain to political finance, fundraising, and the tracking of funds that way, not necessarily as accepting crypto as for donations for political running, but using blockchain infrastructure to keep track of all donations and all monies received. Because right now, as he likes to say, that basically PACs are just big money laundering funds where they just create shells to make different deposits so that all deposit requirements are met on no one person donating more than what's legally allowed. Yet, if legally allowed is at a certain level of around, I think, $3,000 to $200 anonymously, $3,000 per individual, how are politicians able to charge $1.5 million per plate at an event? Makes you think on that. But we have some really cool stuff coming up the rest of the week, as well as we do our countdown for episode 365 to prepare for episode 366, because this is one of those things where we're just going to be, you know, everyone wants to know if we're going to be stopping at 365. We are not. Maybe we might figure out some ways to spice this up and have a little bit more fun with it. But we never really know yet what that might look like. So I want to thank everyone that's been joining us for everything as we go through all of these things, because it is one of those fun things that we get to continuously do time and time again. On the daily, we bring you the worst show possible. And we do that for one reason only. We like to find information that's out there. We're very lucky in who we get to talk to and who we get to interact with and learn from, because really this is all this is. This is a huge learning opportunity. When we say that we're early, we are still early. Because why? We have these giant tech companies, and do not get me wrong, this is what they are, that are willing to still talk to people, you know, getting information directly from, so to speak, the horse's mouth. That's not seen. You know, we see Elon becoming more of a people person in some Twitter spaces, you know, and having random people come up and talk, and, you know, that's the moment in history that they're going to be talking about. But we get a lot more integration with these movers and shakers, which we don't get to see everywhere else. And I'm just really excited that we get to sort of all see how this plays out. So like I was showing you sort of earlier, we did a quick trade, use it from Kava, which is the EVM version of the Cosmos ecosystem. So Kava is both IBC and EVM chain. Satellite by Axelar is just an easy bridge. We were able to switch it from SushiSwap, the tokens we wanted, into Axelar USDC, and then received in Polygon. And it literally took about 30 seconds. So if you're looking for a good bridge to go from pretty much any chain to any chain, Satellite has you covered via Subsquid, which is one routing and liquidity on the backside pieces of it. I use Satellite to get from the entire Polkadot ecosystem into Cosmos, out of Cosmos and into Near. So not just in these EVM chains where we see so much. The reason why I use Satellite is because I use Beefy Finance. So I don't have to go searching for liquidity pools like a Degen. They're sort of all presented to me. What's really cool is I don't have to go do any of the auto compounding, you know, harvest my rewards, redeposit. Beefy does that all automatically. I really sound like an ad campaign right now for like Beefy and Satellite. I'm just actually talking about the shit that I use on a daily, and things that I think really add to using new forms, getting in outside of the normal things that we do within blockchain. Sushi Swap, one of the things that we were sort of showcasing was how quickly we can get from USDC Axelar to Matic. And so we're going to just showcase this real quick. We have our USDC loaded, and we are going to just straight up switch into Matic after giving it approval. And so, we gotta unwrap that first. So that's one thing that we do have to do. I do want to shout out to everyone that is joining us on YouTube, everyone that is joining us via Twitch, LinkedIn, Telegram, Xenon, and Twitter. Looking at Twitter, I got a couple people that I have not seen for a minute. Some amazing people that I'm going to be seeing in Vegas and hopefully in Austin as well this year. Honest, how are you doing, sir? I'm going to give you a second if you have the time to come on up. You and Six are doing some really cool things with youth in your area and stuff like that. How have you been, man?
Hey, man, I've been blessed, brother. I have no complaints, man. Shout out to Taco, man. He actually ate a taco at my event in Austin, man. I appreciate you. What's going on,
man? I got that was a good taco, and that was your mother-in-law or soon-to-be mother-in-law.
Yes, mother-in-law.
Mother-in-law. That is the way. I know it was said a different way by someone else one time. I was like, nah, I like saying this,
Yeah, man, it's good to see you, man. I love your positivity, man, and your vibes in your space. Man, I definitely had to come in and chill. I'm sitting back, chilling, working out and stuff. I had to put your space on.
Well, thank you for doing that. So what quickly, what's the TLDR on what you and Six have been doing?
We host workshops. We host workshops around America, just trying to go there and bring in the youth, bring in just people who are just unknowing to crypto, and we host free workshops. We've been doing them for like 2.5 years now. We finally, just let some people in, let some people be able to get a spotlight and be able to get on our stages. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody likes to teach, especially us in the age we're in now. We're all really informed about what's going on. Like anybody who's deep into crypto is really informed with what's going on in the world today. So it's like we just really trying to expand, and right now we have a backpack giveaway. We're doing 250 backpacks to back to school kids in Houston, and then the following day we're going to host a workshop in Houston for anybody who's trying to learn and get into crypto. We like lay it down as a blueprint. We give them all the the easy steps, like a piece of paper says, hey, this is how you get into this wallet. Boom, this is how you get on an exchange. This is how you secure your keys. You know what I'm saying? Like everything's just like simplistic.
Yeah. Now, when I onboard people into blockchain and stuff like that, I sometimes have the issue where me personally, I try to either I read the situation really good and like how interested they are, but sometimes I catch myself, I want to download the entire history of fiat and crypto in one go. And I know that is not the way, because I'm sort of overloading someone. They're like, oh, I just wanted to buy some ETH. I didn't want to, learn this whole history. Do you find a good balance with that, with working with youth?
Well, yeah. So we give them the financial history off the jump. Like the thing about our conferences is we aim to not really tell you about what crypto to get into. We just give you the interest to push you into crypto. Mm-hmm. So we're just trying to be that push. We don't want to be the person who influences you. We want to give you the right knowledge. So if you do get into crypto, you're looking the right places. You know what you want. You know what I'm saying? So I do. I have that with friends. Like with friends, they're just like, "What should I buy? What should I buy?" And it's pretty much the same answer I give everybody else. It's like, man, I can't tell you what to buy because that's not going to put your passion in it. You're going to put $100 in it. You're going to expect for it to go to $1 million, and you're going to be unhappy with no matter what the results are. It'll go from $100 to $8,000. You're going to pull it out, forget about it, no more. You're done with crypto. You know what I'm saying? So it's like. I just tell people, like, I'm not going to tell you what crypto or nothing. I'll tell you how to buy stuff, and I'm going to show you, like, how to get to the water. I'm going to show you how to get there, but you're going to have to feed yourself.
Yeah. So what are some of the things that you've been helping people, like, do you guys do any test net work so that they can get used to doing transactions on test nets? Do you guys give a few tokens in different blockchains and stuff like that so that they can get used to it? Or what are you guys doing?
So we were setting up the popes for the NFTs, and then we were really just like everybody was doing hands-on wallets. We were setting up the wallets hands-on. Everybody had like a little baby notebook and everything where they were keeping, because we were letting people like get used to using the things. But we really never used a test net. To be honest with you, we really like we would have like little games going on in there that have something to do with either NFTs or something to do with MetaMask.
Okay. How has that been going all the way around for you?
Man, it's a blessing, man. I meet so many awesome people, and then when people realize that I'm just here, like I'm not here like no malicious form. I'm not asking for nothing. Like we're here just trying to help. Like
yeah,
I have a business. I have 2 clubs. Like it's not about the input. It's about the output, and I'm trying to help people as much as I can. And it's like when people came from or grew up the way I grew up or struggled the way I struggled, it's like, man, we weren't taught nothing about any of this stuff. We are so handicapped. So automatically when you're talking to these people, they have this block, this barrier, this thought about, live for today, tomorrow's not promised. So if somebody's got that already in their head that tomorrow's not promised, well, how are you going to try to tell them about investing when you got to tell them to put some money away and not worry about it for 5 to 10 years? So it's like they're automatically programmed against it. So you have to break that barrier. But it's beautiful when these stories where you get where people are like, hey, man, I appreciate you for doing this and help me do this and do that. That shit is awesome. I love it. And that's pretty much what is like my drug into why I do this.
Yeah. No, I agree with you that like being able to walk someone through something from start to finish, and you see that click, it is a really good feeling overall. I like to see it. So yeah. Are you going to be coming to Austin for Permissionless?
When's the dates?
September 11th, 12th, and 13th.
Oh yeah, I think we might be throwing a party out there. I think we're doing a party with sex and some. Their name has sex in it. A room of sex or.
Okay. Does my key get me into that?
Man, Taco. Your face gets you into that, but the key is you definitely bring it because it will definitely be the key number 2 probably.
Hey, I will always work to collect more keys, All right. Welcome to the stage, Carmen.
Hey, Taco, look at this. Twice in like the last 24 hours.
I know. Like, you better watch out. People might think that you like me.
You know what? I love you. So let's just put that out there.
Okay.
But no, I haven't taken a mic. And first off, I haven't met you, honest, but what you were speaking about right now just resonates so greatly with me. I too try to give. In fact, I have to teach people how to receive and convince them that I have no expectation. And good leaders who are trying to get the message out there and teach others have to break down that. So when you're talking about breaking down, I have to teach people how to feel worthy of help and advice, and that I don't want anything from them, and that it's part of my purpose to give that, because the more that we can create new leaders in this space, new people who won't give up, who understand that the challenges are going to come, and that they can lean on people like us who want to give to support that, to support them through that. You know, it's weird for people to meet people like us. It's like, I want to give you all the knowledge because I'm not the expert here. I'm just more tenured, and I need to help you with the velocity at which you can overcome these challenges, to open up your eyes to understand the zoom out picture of the entire ecosystem and all the variables you have to overcome. The smarter I can make you, the better equipped you're going to be to accomplish whatever mission you have in this space. And the more wins that we have in this space of us using this technology for good, in the right ways, with scalability and a purpose, then I think we're going to be making bigger impacts. And there's so many people like you and I, Honest and Taco, that take these moments to give, not for our own success, not for our own fame, but for the simplicity and the value of, I want this to be a better world because we're doing the right things and we're using this technology the right way. So thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, appreciate you.
Amazing things going on, amazing things happening. You know, would love, Carmen, for you and Honest to connect. What Honest and Six are doing really really set the stage. You guys are doing amazing things. So I love it.
I'll give you something for your stream. Would you like some alpha?
Yes, we need the alpha. Please give it.
Yes.
Listen, guys, you guys know that I love my city of Las Vegas. I call myself a Sin City girl. That's probably why I'm part degenerate in this space. Taco likes to say I'm an activist / a degen. So what I have recently found out, and who I've been meeting with locally, is there are talks about a crypto casino being built on the Strip. In fact, I'll be flying out to the investors. This is to the tune of $8 billion, and they are looking for this entire system to have ledger technology, blockchain technology, tokenization, and be a home for all the communities that are being here. And it's going to be housing the world's largest African-American history museum in it. I am so excited to have met these people. It's like part of my karma coming back to me for helping others, is to be able to help guide these guys on how to accomplish this. And that is major alpha, and that's why I love Vegas. And you guys are probably going to be coming down here for either the Breathe conference or the NFTX LV. I met both of those organizers, and it's going to be popping this fall out here in Las Vegas. With the word that, Mark Wahlberg is creating new studios out here, we're seeing more crypto and NFT projects and collections coming back from Miami to live here. It's an amazing place and ecosystem and atmosphere to be in. So that's Carmen's Daily Alpha for Taco's Daily Bites.
What? You mean I won't have to use a VPN to say that I'm in Denmark to gamble with crypto?
I will make sure that also your face gets you into all the casino VIP areas. How about that, Taco?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm so going to get banned from something. Oh man, yeah, no, we're leading up to some amazing events. There's coming up is Solana Summer in Nashville. Then there's some more AI blockchain stuff happening in New York. We have Permissionless happening in Austin. Then we have Breathe happening right after that. So I'm trying to route it so that I'm going from Austin and then driving to Vegas, because I'm going to be driving all the way from New York all the way to Austin. That is a fun drive, let me tell you. I do that straight, so like a boss. And then I go smoke a cigar, and then I sleep down. Sleep. You got to sleep.
You have to sleep, Taco. You have to sleep. That is a long ride. It is so, and then you literally got to pay to come down here, right? Because there's like 10 tolls or something.
Yes. I have found.
I think we need to integrate some kind of supply chain mechanism into where in the world is taco.
So I need to talk with Hive Mapper. I want to talk with Hive Mapper, and I could literally help decentralize map infrastructure and earn token at the same time, because with the amount I drive. Who turns down tokens for driving? Drive to earn. You know, but there's some really cool stuff out there. One of the that reminds me, I have to find his number, Carmen, but it's a guy that helps run Pollen Network. I know you have access to a bunch of buildings in Vegas, but providing decentralized cell phone service.
Yes, I want to know that.
Yes.
You know, I've been finding my way to build bigger systems and customized enterprise solutions for bigger entities. And one of the coolest things that I've recently thrown my hat in the ring for is building blockchain technology for the UN. And that's through the Government Blockchain Association. And what we're starting to see is like these public services need to be at the top of our list. So I've recently found a lot of those kinds of projects. So let's add them to it, and let me go through some discovery calls to find out where we can put them.
Definitely. Yeah, no. What's really cool is I want to welcome Jake up to the stage. It's just there's just so much going on that we need to be aware of that just sort of works to the UN. It grinds my gears at times. They try to say they almost hold back innovation in a way sometimes until they get a hand on it, and then as soon as they do, they're like, we're the first one to do this, and I'm like, no, you're not.
Yeah, we were just talking about that last night, right?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, like, oftentimes when I meet these government agencies, like, you know, in May, I met somebody from the FAA. Now, this person, I feel a spirit connection and an animal connection because we're both part Degen, right? We connected because we both sacrificed for Pulse Chain with Richard Hart's team. And so we connected there. And then he said, this is what I do for the FAA. And I'm so passionate about blockchain. And I just need, some tiny bit of blockchain technology that can be integrated into maybe our HR or our supply chain, something really small scale, maybe that only affects, 40 team members. But I want it as a proof of success because I'm trying to convince my leadership and the ladder that exists above me to take a look at this. And yet the optics in the media are just so scary for them that they don't want to touch it. And I go, I hear you. I know this. And we can do it through education. And if we can support you in creating that enterprise solution for you, then, we can get our foot in the door. And we can start to have impact by showing them, look, it's not just the tokens. It's not just the monetization of the ledger technology and all these other infrastructure pieces. But we have to build trust by sometimes not going too fast. And so you don't want to restructure the whole FAA. Take a bite, taste it, and then see if you want all the courses, right? Because when you take a look at big entities like that, it's more than just one thing that exists as a tool on the blockchain. It's a combination of a lot of different things that will serve its own purpose. And it's not, it isn't what it looks like, right?
Yeah.
Let me through the door. Let me educate you. Let me teach you. Let me even take away the fear and overcome those objections that they have, so you can see the good in the technology.
Yeah. We got a hand up, Mr. Jake.
Hey, what's up, Taco, man? Yeah, I just didn't want to cut in. Y'all were building a great conversation. Shout out to Carmen. Shout out to Taco. You're absolutely right when you talk about starting off with little bites. As a previous government contractor, a GS, I was always championing blockchain technology to the company I work for and to the military. And, people were fascinated by it, but they didn't have anybody to go to in the industry that could assist them. And there's a few projects out there that are working with the Air Force specifically that I've been invested in when I was there, and I told them about it, and they started working with them. But to drive home what Taco was talking about, things like drive to earn, right? So, you know, things like a decentralized telecommunications network. And I know Taco mentioned the Solana network. I'm sure he's familiar with HNT, Helium Network, as well as Hive Mapper. And I think Hive Mapper is one of these projects that's going to revolutionize drive to earn, because what it does is it's trying to take market share from Google Maps and iMaps and reward you for doing it. And I think Hive Mapper, you know, following along with HNT as well as Demo. I don't know if you're familiar with Demo, Taco. That's another.
I've been part of Demo since it was. I was one of the early beta users of Demo.
There you go. So I figured you would hit because I heard you mentioning it, but you didn't say the actual projects. I'm like, yo, Taco's hit because I'm really for it. And people that have trucking companies or taxi companies, it's a really good way to onboard people slowly into this crypto blockchain technology and reward them with like quarterly rewards and that token that you can go cash out and turn into real capital to utilize. And that's really what is always been fascinating with projects like that for me. And I just wanted to jump on that because when you were saying it, bro, I was like, he's absolutely right. I've gotten a few people in the Hive Mapper. I told people about Helium Network when it was like $1 and getting and setting up different devices in your home to stabilize that network. And then them getting on Solana chain with the mindset of Solana's making a blockchain cell phone, and now they're the network that cell phone can operate on. I thought that was strategically very, very smart. And even though people give HNT a lot of shit, I think they're doing a lot, no matter what people say, because they're just putting the pieces together.
Yeah.
So that's what I had to add about that, man.
No, where the way Helium moved, like, you know, they did a big piece, and we almost saw a couple different projects like Helium move to Solana. The other one is Nodal. Nodal ended up moving to Polkadot instead of Solana, and they were looking at what they could do. They were able to have their own parachain in Polkadot, versus, you know, being part of the chain. And so then that way they could control a little bit more the flow of the Internet of Things. And so that was, but seeing Nodal move off of XLM, Helium had their own chain, but that was an infrastructure piece where they're like, we're just almost a copy and paste. So it would be an easy integration over. And the ideas that Helium is pushing forward on a lot of that proof of coverage is just really cool. I know, like, if people are looking for an easy, not everyone has a car, not everyone does a whole bunch of driving, not a whole lot of people can get into Hive Mapper because it's like a $600 investment from the get-go. What I've been told, Coin app, I use Coin as well. You know,
you don't need to have no wheels for that. You can walk.
I use XYO.
XYO with the NFC card too.
I got those. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, I wanted to just, I didn't mean to interrupt, but Jake, like the fact that you opened up your response with, you know, you come from government contracting, and you're confirming for everyone listening today that there are entities that are adopting these technologies. I wanted to give you an example. Last year in September, I met a CEO who had just started transacting on chain through crypto.com. That's all he did. I mean, he's a very wealthy man, and you could just see the passion in his eyes of like, look at these gains. I mean, his first question to me was like, how do I get 50,000 out? Right? So I'm looking at this guy in the face and I go, do you think that NFTs are just monkey pictures? And he goes, I have no clue about NFTs, but that's all that I've seen. And I go, okay, let me sit with your team. Took me 4 months of talking to their executive team, their CTOs, to him and all of the people that even knew anything about blockchain on his team to get them on board. Now, this is one of the country's largest government contract brokers. So they have a CRM of about 300,000 business owners that they service every day. Now, when they found out in March, when the banks were failing, that FedNow systems were going to go live this year, in fact, yesterday, they started preparing to build a product that they were going to sell to help onboard those businesses when the time came to be, right? Because they're all going to have to interact with the FedNow systems. Now, what we did is we came in as an enterprise solution and we created some enterprise systems for document storage, payroll, auditing, and things that people need in their business and probably already have in their business, but it comes with a wallet, because we all know that the adoption and opening up wallets is the key and the foot in the door to get people to start transacting, start taking a look, and start getting educated. So we found a strategic way that somebody who's going to be offering centralized onboarding for this new system can be paired up with a decentralized wallet, but giving them nothing but value, maybe even giving it to them at a better price, because we want to see adoption. And then as things get better and we get clarity on regulation, we'll be able to have that captured audience of the key people that are heads of companies and give them other options in the DeFi space. So we always have to take those little bites. And sometimes the UI and the ease of people onboarding and just getting the value out of it is the way that we can get this adoption to where it needs to be.
No, I definitely agree with you, Carmen. I've definitely been in those type of meetings where you literally have to keep coming back for months, 4 months, 6 months, a year, until it starts to sink in and creating the user interface, the UI, like Carmen is saying, where it's acceptable. For me, and what I like to do, and I know Taco's been in a few of our spaces, and I appreciate him for holding the space, because Taco has a wealth of information from what I've always heard when he speaks, is getting the adoption from the people and the grassroots. And one of my first points that I like to do is just setting them up with a MetaMask wallet. Not a wallet for, Solana or anything, just a MetaMask wallet. It's historically verifiable, that it's been around pretty much the longest as far as a hot wallet. It's easy to download. It's a good onboarding method, because there's a lot of projects on Ethereum network, even though the projects that we're mentioning are not on Ethereum, and there's multiple reasons for that. But I just like to do it for people, because now you can give them a token, right, that you probably got on Ethereum, to get them in the game. And one of my initiatives that me and my team, with our project called the Be Jesus Project, is getting real life utility from the community members, right? Learning to accept it for value, learning that you can incentivize a customer base or a demographic to want to get a token, because you'll give them a discount if they pay for your service or your product with that token or that asset, digital asset, and get them in. And I think sometimes when you deal with enterprise, because I dealt with enterprise and, like I said, the military and government for over 20 years when I was working there before I retired, you find out how adverse they are to the ledger technology, meaning that this information can be seen and viewed, until you get into, like, you got private ledgers and you got all kind of different tech that you can utilize. But when they hear that it's on the blockchain, it can be viewed, the transact, they kind of get nervous, because, being prior military and understanding operational security, OPSEC, they kind of are standoffish. And if you want to get government involvement, I would always say go to the Air Force first. The Air Force is very, very advanced in technology acceptance as a branch and as a whole in the government. Everything that you see new in the military, when it comes to technology, usually comes from the Air Force. And that's just a fact. Even when you think about drones and how that technology took off, it took off because the Air Force started allowing the gamers to have a reason to join the military. And then they could utilize that skill in the gaming world with drones. And they could save lives, meaning U.S. lives, without having to put a pilot in an aircraft where they have to go in, hostile territory or what we call hazardous zones, and not worry about them getting, injured, shot down, captured, whatever you want to call it. So that's just my 2 cents on it, Carmen. But I really, appreciate everything you're saying. You're definitely hitting the nail on the head. You definitely have been in these rooms based on what you're saying to me, because I've sat in these meetings for days and weeks and hours, hearing different, technologies being pitched and being spoke about. How can it be leveraged and used by these entities? And, I'd rather deal with the everyday people, but I definitely understand there's a place for enterprise. And to Taco's points, just talking about these different abilities to earn while you're doing something you're going to do anyway, from walking to driving your car to sitting in the internet in your home, right? There's another project. Man, I always forget the name of it, but I've actually seen it in the DC metro area where I forgot the name of the project. Taco might know, or maybe even you, Carmen, where it's a Internet of Things device that you hang up by your door, and it can track people coming in and out of your facility because it pings your smart device, whether it's your phone or it's your watch or any smart device, and it can talk, right? And people don't understand this talking that's happening between quote unquote robots, right? Or artificial intelligence or smart devices. And that's why I think XYO, I think Helium Network, I think Hive Mapper, which like Taco said, is really expensive to get in the game. But if you're just paying attention, you can also still benefit without owning that device by learning how it's going to be traded on the blockchain and in these dexes and sexes, centralized exchanges. So for sure.
I think you're thinking of there's two devices. One is ran by Nodal. The other one is by IOTX. They're Pebble.
There's one, I know IOTX. I'm invested in IOTX. No,
yeah.
IOTX is really good about temperature control when it comes to the trucks having your produce. IOTX is really, really good about that. And they also have like a security system that you can set up in your home too with IOTX. But it starts with a D. They're the one that has a contract with the Air Force right now. I can't remember the name of them. I got to look through one of my wallets. I think I hold some for sure. But I've seen these devices in like bike shops in Alexandria, Virginia, and certain locations in the downtown DC metro area. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, snap. Like they really out here got actual mom and pop businesses buying in. All they need to do is get like, a Whole Foods that has a lot of foot traffic going in and out, and they're going to change the game. Or maybe, they get bought out by what is the name of this company? I'm going to look it up right now, Taco, because I want to give you the right name.
Yeah.
And I'll jump back in.
One of the things I wanted to touch on, like there's a whole bunch of blank to earn apps, Walkminer, XYO, Heal3, Moonfit, Steppen is a classic. Steppen partnered up with
Adidas.
And not only did they partner with Adidas, but they partnered with Apple Pay so that people can use Apple Pay right within the app to be able to buy stuff right away. So yeah.
Yeah, you're definitely right about those partnerships, and that's just about getting adoption, like Carmen is saying, right?
Yep.
Like you make the right partnerships, and then they help you just spread the word and get everyday men and women and other businesses involved because they have that reach that as a upstart crypto blockchain company you may not have, right?
Yep.
So it's super important, and if you can get mom and pop businesses to do it and start mentioning you, and they use POS systems, point of sale systems,
yep,
and you see that happening. The reason why point of sale systems became so popular was not just because they allowed you to accept, a form of digital payment, which is like a debit card, credit card, tap to pay. It was because the data that they receive from the products you sell at your business, big enterprise businesses buy that data, and that's why you see Whole Foods now selling smoothies and fresh juices. Right? They did that because they realized the mom and pop businesses that did it were making a real killing, and they got that data and they implemented it, and now they can do it at a higher level. And unfortunately, they put a lot of mom and pop businesses out of business because they can sell it at a cheaper price and they can take market share from them. And that's why POS systems are very, very, tricky in my opinion, because a lot of mom and pop businesses don't ever hear that part, that this data that you're providing is getting bought up by a bigger company because they know you're doing something right.
Yeah. I know my friend Drake over at PureCoin has a POS terminal system that he's using to help stores set up. He's got over, I think, 200 custom businesses that are using it now, that he lower credit card transaction fees, but also allows for crypto payments. And so people can buy stuff, and it's an easy software update, that people can run in concurrent to their own software so they can sort of see it in action. And I think as more businesses work to accept crypto, I think that's where we'll start to see a a turning point on like that POS side of things, of the ownership of data that's provided through that as well. I don't know. Just
hey, Taco. The name of the company is Constellation. That's the name of the company. They have the partnership with the U.S. Air Force. Constellation. They make a device that allows you to track things. They have ledger technology. Constellation is the name of the project, bro.
Okay.
I forget their ticker, but I'm gonna find it out. But that's the name of the company I was trying to think of that had a partnership with the U.S. Air Force.
All right. Nice. We will look that up. Yeah, no, there's just so many things out there that are doing amazing things. So really happy to see that. Yeah, no, man, this stuff makes me bullish on everything, you know. Yeah. Oh man.
Hey, Taco, I have a question because
yeah.
I gotta try to talk to you on the back channels or have Monster speak to you about you always say it, and I always appreciate when you say it about how you can ease the transition for Web 2 or just everyday men and women to go straight from fiat with their debit card into your project, right? Weren't you telling us like you can set that up on your website and just make it a super easy transition? Was that you just explaining that to us one space?
Yeah.
And we really want to do that with our project that we launched because we have a lot of people that want it. And the hurdles that you go into after you get a MetaMask or a Trust wallet or any other of these wallets. That's like the easiest part is setting up the wallet. It's now how do you get your fiat into the the asset that you can swap for the other asset.
Yeah.
And I think whenever you talk about that, I love hearing it because I'm not traditionally a web designer. That's more people on my team and some of my family, but I definitely am a comm guy. I'm a cybersecurity guy, and I know that is one of the biggest hurdles for people in general to just get into crypto. It's like it's too hard.
Yeah.
It's too hard. How do I send this? Like, what do I got to do now? And it's really only hard because it's not familiar to them, right? It's not repeatedly banged into their head, like how we learn how to read and do basic math and how you know how to operate Twitter because you've been on it. And I always tell them, like, you just got to keep doing it. And they think it's scary, but the same thing happened on Instagram. The same thing happens on TikTok. The same thing happens with the television. You know how to use the remote controller because you kept using it until you figured it out. And if you had a chance, could you just explain? I think you said you had it set up on your site where you could just easily use a payment rail to get some crypto, even your specific project if you made it type of thing.
Yeah. So Banksa is a fiat to crypto on ramp or off ramper. Well, you see Banksa is even integrated into MetaMask. It sort of gets dropped down on the options over like MoonPay because MoonPay charges less fees, but usually MoonPay gives you a worse conversion. So that's what, people always are worried about fees and stuff like that for credit card transactions. And, if I'm spending $100, how much of that $100 do I easily get as crypto? Some of the new ways some of the easy ways, people can integrate a Banksa widget and stuff like that. Sign up with Banksa, get that all done. So people have that. There's a couple other projects. For those that are in New York and stuff like that, you're sort of limited, for who's allowed and who's not allowed. And we are starting to see a lot of bank censorship. Even I'm having banks dealing with bank censorship, which is hilarious. And so, sometimes USAA chooses to allow it, sometimes they don't. And now that more recently they've been choosing not to allow it, which has been sort of hilarious. But Banksa is integrated with Google Pay and Apple Pay, so people don't even have to re-KYC stuff. So it just makes it a lot easier, So there's some really good stuff. And I just sent you. So one of the things that we had been talking about with BJesus and stuff like that was being able to use it for payments and stuff and buying things. And so we set up, so one of the new projects that is attached to Shopify is DPay. I sent you the Telegram link for their group. I tried to send you their documents page, but Twitter's at capacity right now.
Yeah, it's acting real crazy, but I got the link that you sent me too. Thanks a lot, Taco. I'm listening. I'm just letting you know, and everybody know he did send it and I received it. But the other link, like you said, is acting funny. It's not working, coming through.
Now it did. But I had to send it like 4 times, and Twitter was telling me that Twitter was overloaded. So, I'm glad we didn't get rubbed. But no, this is it's a great thing. We see some really cool stuff building out. We're gonna wrap this up, but I'm gonna call on both my guests up here for one last thing before we end this, as we normally do. Tomorrow I have the founder of the Inverse, Kramer, joining us, and we're going to be talking a little bit about stocks, but we're also going to be talking about how crypto markets are affected by everything. So we're going to be having Matthew Tuttle from Tuttle Ventures joining us tomorrow. And for those of you who don't know what the Inverse Kramer is, Jim Cramer makes a lot of calls that seem to not always go well. And so someone made an ETF that that shorts anything that he says, and takes long positions on the opposite of what he's doing. And so it was one of those things that is just so meme worthy, to where now, anytime Kramer says something, everyone just automatically cringes that the opposite is going to happen. So we're going to be having Matthew on tomorrow. It's going to be a blast as we get ready we're on the countdown now for episode 365 to 366 and what that looks like after those numbers. So as always, I want to go around the room and, final thoughts and words of wisdom. Jake, let's start with you.
Hey, Taco, man. When you say Inverse Kramer and you just mentioned that guy, my words of wisdom are, if you've ever seen the movie A Bronx Tale, Kramer is literally mush from A Bronx Tale. Whatever he says or touches, just rip up your ticket if he's in it with you, because it's going to go the complete opposite way you thought it was going to go. And my only words of wisdom are, don't get discouraged. We're really early. Even though crypto has been around 12, 13 years, you're still super early. You can tell by the adoption. And, definitely show up to Taco Spaces. I'm always glad when I can catch them and jump in and just catch some knowledge, wisdom, and share anything I've learned. And I really thoroughly enjoyed hearing Carmen speak about her perspective and what she's aiming for, coming from the Las Vegas area. And I definitely heard the same thing from some of my people in the military out there at Nellis about they're putting a crypto casino out there, because they know I'm into crypto. So they would write me like, yo, man, you told us about this. I was like, I told you. So those are my only words. Those are my closing thing. Go, follow everybody on the panel if you could. And, definitely look into the Beat Jesus Project. It's unapologetically black, but that doesn't mean it's not for everybody else. And, it starts off as a meme, then it turns into something else. And that's what I'll leave with.
All right. Thank you, Jake. Yes. Check out the Be Jesus. There's some, at least stay for the memes. The memes are worth it.
Hey, Taco, did anybody, I'm saying this right now, I feel like this is kind of alpha. If anybody had the capability, there's not an Inverse Kramer meme token, is there?
There is.
Like it would be a hit. Oh, there is. Okay, there is. Okay.
There is. Yeah. What Matt actually told me, he's like, he talks with the Inverse Kramer coin guys. They're really cool. He said the Inverse Kramer parody account actually blocked him. So yeah, some funny stuff there. Twitter drama at its finest. And Carmen left the stage because she knows the way this goes. So we're gonna end here with my words of thoughts and wisdom. They're the same words I end every episode with. Maybe eventually I'll come up with new ones. But a closed mouth cannot be fed, and you cannot feed a closed mouth, meaning if no one knows you are looking for opportunity can never come a knocking. And if opportunity does come knocking and you're not ready to answer the call, it's going to keep on walking. And we end every episode with the worst, best, or the best, worst knock-knock joke on the face of the planet. It's done out of love. It's done out of those who come before me and done for those that will come after. And it's always done out of respect and love. It rubs people the wrong way sometimes, but it is done with the good of intentions. And Jake, since you were up here, you get to help me with this. Are you ready?
I'm ready, man. Let's go.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?